Okay, so first things first, to all my eSkate viewers and fans, I'm not exclusively switching over to EUC. EUC is mad fun, but eSkate definitely has my heart. But I will say this, if your top 3 selling points are range, speed, and comfortability, EUC is 1000% where it's at. For me, as a freestyle e-skater, I need more than just comfortable range and top speed. That's not really my style. But sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, it is refreshing stepping on this big 20-inch tire, being super comfortable hopping off of curbs, going off-roading, sit riding, or even riding to another state on one freaking charge. It's pretty damn crazy. Now, if you're an e-skater thinking about switching over to EUC, but not leaving e-skate like myself, I did do a video on my very first learning curve on my very first EUC. Even still, I'm not an expert because the free time that I have focuses on e-board reviews, tutorials, and other fun things like street wheels and all-terrain wheels. So if you're an e-boarder thinking about transferring over to EUC, definitely go for the Master V4. I like to think the Master V4 as like the M-board endurance of the EUC community. If you go to a group ride with all LaCroix, Cali's, and Lorentz boards, and you show up with the M-board endurance, best believe you're gonna keep up with them, you're gonna have plenty of range, if not better than theirs, and you're definitely gonna be well respected. But the most important thing is saving money. Just like when you get an M-board endurance, you're saving tons of money as opposed to getting a LaCroix, a Hoyt, a Metro board, or a Cali. Same thing with this. You're getting all the performance, range, and features and spending dramatically less money without giving up quality, performance, and range. Okay, so let's talk about the basic specs of the Master V4. It has a 2400 watt battery utilizing Samsung 50S cells. It's 134 volts and it's utilizing a C38 motor pushing 3500 watts. It is a 20-inch wheel and it weighs about 79 pounds. For a 20-inch wheel, it doesn't feel big and it definitely doesn't feel heavy. And that's coming from a small rider. The suspension is good. It's not Sherman S or Sherman L good, but it's definitely good. So if you're an e-skater and you transfer over to this is gonna feel like heaven to you. Now these are stock pads. A lot of advanced riders will go aftermarket, but I like the stock pads. Now at first, the stock pedals I didn't like because I was used to grip tape pedals on my RS19, but I'm starting to like the actual spike pedals. Now I chose a street tire. You can go knobby on certain different retailers, but I chose a street tire. Forgive me, I don't remember which exact tire it is, but it's definitely great. I'm more of a street rider, so I chose a street wheel. Even if you plan on going off-roading once in a while, this can still handle it. Now, I personally think these lights are great. A lot of veteran EUC riders think otherwise. I guess coming from eSkate using 1 or 2 shred lights up front, this is definitely a big improvement, and it comes stock on the wheel. It also has a really cool blue taillight, and when you start accelerating, it turns red. Now, as I said before, the suspension is good. It's not Sherman L good, but it's definitely good. I'd say about 85 to 90% of e-skaters have never used suspension on any of their PEVs. So going to this is a dramatic difference. So if you want super comfort with crazy amount of range and crazy amount of high speeds without breaking the bank, I really do think the Master V4 is where it's at. Now, some people complain about this trolley handle. It's definitely cheap, but it does the job. I don't really need some kind of high-end trolley handle to roll around the wheel. These are the kind of things I'm okay with sacrificing to spend less money. Same thing with the digital display. It's not big, it's not fancy, it's not awesome, but it just does the job. Now, a lot of EUCs do not come with the seat. This basically comes stock with the seat, and it's very comfortable. No need to purchase a seat after you buy this. If you buy an EUC, best believe you want to learn seat riding because it's incredibly comfortable and it's a straight up vibe. So to me, that's a great selling point. Now, speaking of buying EUCs, the 2 wheels prior to this was a Commander 50S, which is a very expensive wheel, and then after that was a BEGODE T4. Not too expensive, but obviously a good chunk of change. Both of these I purchased at 2 separate, smaller retailers. I call them rinkety-dink retailers. My point is, don't buy from these. Trying to save a little bit of money up front is not worth it.
The wheel is off and it's still doing this noise. The hell?
The Commander 50S and the T4 basically came DOA. It took weeks and weeks going back and forth with these problems, and then getting my money back was harder than brain surgery. I hated it so much. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. When I bought my Nikola AR, which was my very first wheel, and then my RS19 from Alien Rides, I had nothing but smooth sailing. I have tons of EUC buddies that buy from eWheels and eevees, and some of those friends have had issues with their wheels purchased from eevees or eWheels, and both companies took care of them with no questions asked. So trust me, spend a little bit more money, go to a reputable retailer. As for range, I'm a 160 pound rider and the temperature is anywhere from 38 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 51 degrees Fahrenheit. I got a total of 66.5 miles of range with the Master V4. So yeah, for about 2,300 bucks, getting that much range and getting speeds over 50 miles per hour with this much comfort and standard features and standard quality, I think this is a great bang for buck, especially if you're an e-skater like me that wants an EUC as well. Because honestly, you can learn on this wheel and yet still keep up with actually advanced riders on any group ride. Now you can spend less money on a non-suspension wheel and maybe get the same performance, but you won't have suspension. Or you can go for a cheaper suspension wheel like the T4, but not have the performance and range as the Master V4. This has the good battery cells, this has good headlights, it's got good suspension, it's got a damn good tire, it's got phenomenal range, great top speed, all for under $2,500. Like I said, it's the M-board endurance of the EUC community. Thank you for watching, guys. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Have a good one, guys.